Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to the On Deck podcast presented by LineStar. I'm Shannon Sommerville. We'll be joined by our fantasy baseball expert Tyler Wiemann in just a bit. But first things first, we've got some weather to get to for these lucky 13 games tonight. Let's take a look at some of the weather that's going to be impacting some of these games. We'll go first to an NL East battle in Queens, New York. Phillies at Mets, mild temps, clear skies, but light 11-mile-an-hour wind left to right. Maybe some potential for slight impact there. To the south side, White Sox hosting the Angels, 58 degrees with moderate winds, strong gusts blowing in from center that could reduce home run chances pretty significantly. To Kansas City, where the Royals set to host the Yankees. A nasty storm moving into Kansas City, but there is a really good chance it arrives after the game, so it might be in the clear. Keep an eye on that one. 24-mile-an-hour winds out to left. Diamondbacks at Cardinals. The story here is a chance of rain and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Rain should clear before first pitch, though. Could be a brief delay, but postponement unlikely in this one. And the Coors effect may be negated tonight. 16-mile-an-hour winds in from left field will reduce home run chances. Dodger Stadium will have an 11-mile-an-hour breeze out to left, and Oracle Park, 54 degrees with 10-mile-an-hour winds out to right center. Not too much of an impact there, but those are your weather conditions to keep an eye on. That's your weather, and now we welcome in Tyler Wiemann to go over some of your daily fantasy projections. But first things first, it's Flannel Friday. I'm wearing red and black in honor of my Georgia Bulldogs. We had a great night in the NFL draft. 5 taken in the first round, so I had to represent. Plus, here's a tease for you. We're going to be talking about a former Georgia Bulldog pitcher today. So that's your tease for your pitcher projections. But we're not here to talk about the NFL draft. We're here to help you in your daily fantasy baseball. So let's take a look at our chalk report with some of our projected pitchers for today. We'll start off with our high-owned pitchers. Oakland A's righty Frankie Montas going up against the Cleveland Guardians. He's about 44% owned on DraftKings, 32% owned on FanDuel. Now he has a 3.28 ERA in 4 starts. He had a terrible first game of the season, but it seems like he's kind of settled in a little bit. In his most recent outing, 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts in 7 1/3 versus the Rangers. But when I look at who he's had good games against, it's like the Rangers, the Rays, maybe, Orioles. But he did get shelled by the Phillies. So I'm like, I don't know how to read this whole situation. Break it down.
Well, the one thing is that he's had a below 3 FIP over the last 20 starts. So even more than just the start of this season, going into last season, he's been good. Like I said, it's right around a 2.85 FIP, I believe it was. Sure. ERA is right around the same. 23% combined K rate today. And then he's just way too cheap. So that's really why the ownership is going there, is just his price. When I have a guy, especially on a 13-game slate, who is so expensive, I try and look at reasons to fade them. So besides just ownership, Cleveland versus righties is 3rd in the league with 130 WRC plus. They're 1st in slugging and they're 2nd in batting average. So they are getting to righties and hitting them well. So that would be the one reason to fade him. Outside of that, he's been a good pitcher.
Yeah, that offense has been really good. So
absolutely,
I understand your rationale for fading him for sure. Let's take a look now at White Sox righty Lucas Giolito versus the Angels. 37% owned on DraftKings, 13% on FanDuel. Now, he's been pretty sharp in his return. Very brief stint on the IL, we should note, with an abdominal injury. Doesn't seem too much of an issue, though he hasn't gone past 4 innings, which always kind of, when you're playing daily fantasy, you want to see them go pretty far. Angels did have the 6th highest strikeout rate, though. So what are you seeing from him today?
So Giolito's been good, 3.3 FIP, 26.5 K rate. He's been a solid pitcher over his last 20 starts. His StatCast data is a little sketchy, though, with giving up over 50% hard contact. So that's one thing to be a little careful about. Next is the Angels have actually been really good, and they are 2nd in WRC+, 2nd in slugging, and 1st in ISO versus righties. So they've been hitting righties hard. if they get to him, it could be a quick night for Giolito.
Yikes, and the Chicago White Sox bullpen is 21st, so it's not a day to take the Sox on them.
Angels could be an interesting kind of leverage offense to stack. I'm not writing them up, but it is kind of interesting. But Giolito is good, so.
Okay, so let's talk now about the Phillies righty, Erin Nola, going up against the Mets. Now, this is a guy who's been a bit inconsistent. Last time out, 7 shutout innings against Milwaukee. Just 1 hit, 9 strikeouts. But those last game against the Mets, it was his worst start. 3 earned runs, including a home run in 3 1/3. So what do you expect from Erin Nola today?
It is the curious case of Erin Nola. The thing that I find fascinating about him is his ERA over the last 20 starts is just above 5. However, his FIP is 3.5. So if you take fielding out of it, like he should be pitching.
So do you think he's getting a little unlucky?
I definitely think he's getting a little unlucky.
Okay.
But that is also a really big difference. You rarely see that big of a difference.
Yeah.
But he does have a great 31% K rate, even with that 5% or 5 ERA. He also has some really good StatCast data. So there's a lot to like, but the Mets have been the best with WRC plus and our second best batting average against righties. They are also hitting Nola at a clip of an average with 303 and a .400 ISO in 160 plate attempts. So they have got to Nola in the past.
Right. So would you even go near him for daily fantasy? He does have that strikeout value.
He has the upside.
Yeah.
At 29% on DraftKings, I'll probably have a little bit. I would be a little more interested on FanDuel, where he's only 15%, because he does have that huge upside.
Sure. Let's take a look now at Cardinals righty Adam Wainwright going up against the Diamondbacks. And anytime it's a team going up against the Diamondbacks, we're always looking at their starting pitcher. He's 27% owned on DraftKings, second highest owned pitcher on FanDuel at 28%. Last time out, gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched against the Reds, just 3 strikeouts. So is this a situation, like I mentioned, where we're just going against the D-backs?
A little bit, but the old dog has still got it.
Yeah.
He's still been good. On his career, he's also been way better at home with a 2.8 ERA versus 3.96 away. So he's at home today. He's also against Arizona, who, like we've talked about, is not a very good hitting team, especially versus righties, where they're also striking out at 26.5% and have the lowest batting average in the league.
Right.
And simply put, Wainwright is no slouch. He's better at home. He has a 3.45 FIP and a combined K rate of 25% today. And we may be hearing a little bit more of him later.
Yeah, we're like in the veteran today against the Diamondbacks. All right, let's take a look at some lower-owned guys. I'm very anxious to get to this list because we've got a Georgia Bulldog on the list, and that is Giants lefty Alex Wood going up against the Nationals. And he's 2-0, hasn't gone past 5 innings pitched, but hasn't given up more than 2 runs in his starts this year. Nationals have the 4th lowest OPS, which I didn't realize that until I looked it up today. So what do you like from Alex Wood today?
So Alex Wood, he's a great pitcher. He has a 3.27 FIP. He has a 27% K rate, which is all great. The problem is that Washington doesn't strike out a lot. Versus lefties, they're only striking out 16%. So the upside might not totally be there, but they're also just bad against lefties. 27th in WRC plus, slugging, and then 29th in ISO. So they may not miss a lot of balls, but they're not hitting balls hard.
Yeah, which could bode well from a daily fantasy perspective, even if...
Absolutely, and Washington also has a low 3.2 implied total, so they're probably not going to get many runs off him. But he may not, have a ton of Ks. And I believe you're actually going to like the next guy on this list, too.
Oh, yes. Nasty Nestor Cortez. The Yankees lefty going up against the Royals. Huge fan of his. And I even ordered a T-shirt after his last start because I was so excited. And
I should have brought you a fake
great
mustache
design.
to wear.
I'll wear it on when it comes in and I get it delivered. I will wear it on the show.
Nasty
in
Nestor.
all its glory. So, talking about him, he's only given up 2 runs in this entire season in 3 starts. He can be a strikeout machine against the Orioles 2 weeks ago. 12 strikeouts. Are you kidding me? Royals have the lowest strikeout rate in baseball, but they're not that great in terms of everything else. Their OPS is 28th. So, good matchup for him today?
It is a good matchup for him. I'm not shying away from the matchup, but it's more about Nestor and how good he has been. He's had a 2.39 FIP over his last 5 starts and a crazy 37.4% K rate. So Nasty Nestor is absolutely living up to the name. For today, the combined K rate is probably about 27%, and KC is 3rd worst against lefties in WRC plus and 2nd lowest in slugging. The one thing is, like you said, they don't strike out a lot.
Right.
It's only they're 18% strikeout rate towards lefties, and the other minus is the wind is blowing out. So
that's right.
There could be a little more runs for that, and also there could be some rain late in the game.
Some weather just to keep an eye on in that one. So we will indeed do that. Now let's take a look at our stacks. A little stack attack. High-owned stacks for today. First, we're looking at, are my eyes deceiving me?
No.
The Cincinnati Reds versus the Rockies? Would your grandma approve?
Apparently, the rest of the field does not have the inside information that I have.
Yeah, his grandma said that she loves playing the Reds as a Padres fan because they just haven't not been good this year.
5-1 against them. So
they're going up against Rockies' Antonio Senzatella, who gave up 5 earned runs in his last start that was on the road. Not a high strikeout guy, hasn't gone past 5. And the Rockies bullpen has the highest ERA in baseball. So those are good stats if you're the Reds.
Absolutely.
Their own stats. What are you looking at here that intrigues you?
Cincinnati also does have a 5.3 implied total. So there is a lot to like as far as the Cincinnati bats. Senzella's also giving up 1 home run per 9. So he's not allowing a ton of hard contact. It's right around 27%. And the other thing is he has a mid-3s FIP. So this is another situation where a pitcher's FIP is way different than his ERA. So his ERA is about a point higher in the mid-4s. Essentially, Senzella's performance just depends on the defense. He's going to allow balls in play, and it's kind of up to the defense to make a play or not.
Defense needs to step up. That fielding independent pitching stat will come to get you. Let's talk about the Atlanta Braves going up against Rangers' Garrett Richards. I like Richards. He's a solid guy. But Rangers bullpen, 3rd highest ERA, 4.21. That's not great. Braves are top 10 in OPS. What are you liking from the Braves besides the fact that they got Acuna back?
Obviously, the Braves lineup is a little bit better now. Garrett also hasn't gone very far into the games. He's pretty much an opener. So while he's okay, the Texas bullpen's terrible. And so this is more so picking on them. They have the highest FIP in the league, their bullpen does, and they're also allowing 1.4 home runs per 9. So the earlier you can get to them, the better. Atlanta has an implied total of 4.8, which is the 4th highest on the slate. And like you said, they got Acuna back. That lineup is just that much more dangerous now.
Maybe a good spot to find a home run caller, too.
Maybe.
I didn't today, just spoiler alert. We'll talk first about your low-owned stacks before we get to our home run calls. New York Yankees, love to see them on this list. Going up against KC lefty Chris Bubich. Last outing got shelled 5 earned runs in 2 innings pitched versus the Mariners. What do you like about the Yankees today?
Well, the wind is blowing out. Yankees have a lot of power, and they've started swinging the bat well. The Yankees are 5th in WRC+, 2nd in ISO, and 3rd in slugging versus lefties. So it's really more of a play against Chris Bubach, and it's also the Yankees' strength. But Bubach just got blown up this year. He has 14 earned runs. He's walking, a 14 earned run average. so far this season. He's walking 11.5 per 9, and he's allowing 1.3 home runs per game or per 9, 38% hard contact rate. They also have the same implied total as the Braves, but are just getting way less ownership.
Okay.
So I love the leverage we can get from the Yankees today.
Love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Astros going up against lefty Yusei Kikuchi. The Astros got to him last time out. What do you see from him today?
The Astros have actually got to him over the last 3 starts against them. In the last 3 starts, Houston, he went a total of 8 innings, gave up 5 home runs and 13 runs. So Kikuchi has not been able to make it very far. Then also on the season, he has a 6.23 FIP. He's walking 7.5 batters per 9 and a 34% hard contact rate. Kikuchi just has not been good.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm seeing a lot with some of these pitchers. It's kind of a situation where I look at it and say, if you haven't shown up yet in the season, it's a good play to just go against them until they figure it out.
They got to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so far, Kikuchi has not been proving it. Gurriel, Maldonado, Bregman, Alvarez, McCormick all have over a 400 WOBA versus Kikuchi. And usually I don't really like talking about too much BVP data, but Bregman, Alvarez, Gurriel have all faced him at least 20 plate attempts. So it's a kind of a bigger sample size there. So
we'll pick on him a little bit.
Let's pick on him. Yeah.
Now it is time for our home run calls. Quite simply, who's going yard today? Tyler, where are you headed with your home run call today?
I am going to pick on Toronto, and I am going Yordan Alvarez.
Okay.
In 20 plate attempts, Alvarez is hitting with a 400 ISO and has 2 home runs against Kikuchi. So 10% of his plate attempts have resulted in a home run. Alvarez didn't have a home run against them last week, so he's due. He's going yard tonight.
All right, I've got Aaron Judge going up against Chris Bubich, and I love this matchup. Simply, you've got righty-lefty matchup. Chris Bubich gives up a 375 average to right-handed bats, and Judge just torches lefties this season to the tune of an 895 slugging percentage. He's had 4 home runs in the past week, and even if he doesn't get to Bubich, the Royals bullpen is allowing opponents the 3rd highest batting average. So he'll get another shot at it. And wind is blowing out a little bit to left. Case closed. Aaron Judge.
Need a hammer.
All rise. We do need a Judge.
Need a hammer.
Judge's.
All rise. Judge going yard.
All right. Now let's take a look at our prop bets for today. Where are you headed with your prop bet?
I am going to stay with pitchers, and I am going to St. Louis with Adam Wainwright over 4.5 strikeouts. Now, BetMGM has him at plus money at plus 100, but DK and FD are both minus 115. Anyways.
Got to shop around a little bit when you're
absolutely
making these prop bets.
You can do that on LineStar.
Yeah,
it has all the props, everything there.
In one place that you can look at.
Getting back to Wainwright, in 3 of his 4 starts this season, he's hit the 4.5 number, and on his career, he has a 2.84 ERA at home versus 3.96 on the road. He's also striking out 21% at home versus 20% on the road. But this year, he has 1 strikeout in an inning, and Arizona is bad with a 27% strikeout percentage versus righties. So we are going Adam Wainwright.
I mean, the math is on your side in that one. And you've been doing really well in your strikeout props lately.
I have been. And I'm going to keep going there.
I'm going to go with a hitter prop here. And I'm going Jazz Chisholm over 1.5 bases. That's at plus 140. And the Marlins are going up against Mariners' Matt Brash. No, he's actually not a bad pitcher by any means. He made his debut this year, so this is kind of like a first time. We're really getting some information on him. But we do know a lot about Chisholm. He's been raking 341 average and 750 slugging to righties. All of his home runs have been against righties. His numbers are so much better righties when you look at his splits. And he's hit that 1.5 bases mark in 8 of 15 games. So you almost got like a 50-50 shot there, but just those numbers about how much better he is against righties sways me a bit. He's been on fire lately, batting .333 the past week. So Jazz Chisholm over 1.5 bases.
I want to see the Euro step by him. Home run
Like,
dance.
yeah.
I love it.
We have to have our own home run dance when we get it right, I think.
Oh,
we'll have to
boy.
incorporate that into the show. What do you think about that?
You're trying to get me to dance.
I am. All right, that's it for us today. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, download the LineStar app, and if you're watching us on YouTube, click like and subscribe, and drop a comment. If you want to see Tyler dance, just let us know, because we do, right? All right, that's it for
Nobody
us.
wants to see that.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.